believe this, but my vlogs used to be filled with morbid self-reflection. I was just always going on and on about myself, man. That was the whole focus.
That letter.
Just going on and on about myself. Just pure narcissism, mate. Just self-aggrandizement. It was just all about me, like reflecting, getting all morbid. But now I've totally turned the corner. I've left that morbid self-reflection behind. Now I'm on easy street. Now I'm living the good life. Okay, so I've been blogging for 21 years come July 3. I bought a real computer for the first time. I think I drove up to like Glendale area, bought a real computer for about $1,000. July 3 of 1997. Came home. I was living in a trailer park, and I hooked it up to a phone line, like 56k mobile. Whoa, Halsey, incredibly generous, halseynews.com. Thank you so much for the donation. So hooked it up to a phone line, and like dialed in, you know, that old sound over the phone, just 56k, and dialed in and logged into AOL, and within an hour I had a page up. Now I hope that my iPhone doesn't overheat, because that's what tends to happen. So it happened yesterday, cut me off right in the middle of me like making a profound point that would forever change your life. My iPhone cut off yesterday. But July 3, I started blogging, 1997, and here I go. But during many of those years, I had this horrible feeling that I was headed in the wrong direction. And it would be really clear to me at about 2 or 3 a.m. That I was going in the wrong direction, and periodically I encountered people that tell me I was going in the wrong direction, and just often just had this kind of sick feeling because I couldn't figure out a way out of my mess. And I said, I'm a smart guy, I'll figure things out. And I'd figure, and I'd go to shul, and I'd daven, and I'd study Talmud, and I'd figure things out, and it wasn't working. I was just stuck in this rut where I was writing about filth to make a living and kind of hating myself for it and smudging my own soul. And I was a pariah in Jewish life. I was a pariah in Gentile life. I was just socially ostracized. I didn't like myself, and oh man, that's a lousy angle. Okay, here we go now. And but just the morbid self-reflection, like second guessing every decision you make, and then knowing something's wrong, and kind of hating yourself for it, and then resolving to do better, and it was just like this cycle. It was like water going down a drain, just swirling around, just like being caught in a whirlpool of morbid self-reflection. That's what my life was like. And I'd have moments of stunning clarity, and sometimes I'd get some good blog posts out of it, but it was fundamentally a sense of being ill at ease with myself, with my direction in life, with my relationships with other people, with my relationship with Orthodox Judaism, with my relationship with God, my relationship with my family, my relationship with my friends, my relationship with Dennis Prager. I was just fundamentally ill at ease, and people could just pick up on it. People pick up on that stuff right away. Come on, mates, let me through. Go, 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 go. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, and I'm gonna just switch lanes. Oh, that was kind of silly, but oh well. I changed lanes, and I'm not sure it was worth it. And morbid self-reflection. That's kind of what occupied way too much of my time. And the point is, it just doesn't happen anymore. Very rarely. Because now, when I feel ill at ease about something, when I see someone and I don't want to confront them, I can just do an immediate 10-step, which is basically a mini 4-step. So a 4-step means I ask myself, why do I resent this person? What did they do? What part of my life did it affect? And what did I do? Did I play any role? And if I did, like, man, this thing is just not working out. My iPhone holder. Spent the big bucks. So it's really good to get clarity. I can feel where I went wrong. Okay, was I selfish? Was I self-seeking? Was I inconsiderate? Was I dishonest? Was I fearful? For many of us, most of our character defects just come out of fear. We're afraid of being able to provide for ourselves, so we steal, we run roughshod over other people because we got to survive, man. I'm in survival mode. And so I'm just going to take what I can. My therapist told me that I reminded her of like this starving infant just sucking away remorselessly at the nipple because he has no confidence that there will be enough. There's no confidence that that the nipple will be there another day, so he's just gorging himself with all he can get right now. That was kind of the image that that my therapist had. And then through doing the 12-step work, now I just get clarity. So let's say I spoke inappropriately to people in a work setting. That's because I was self-seeking. I just wanted to amuse people. I wanted to be the center of attention. I didn't want to serve my clients. So I was being selfish and self-seeking. And yeah, I get into trouble sometimes. I say inappropriate things in inappropriate situations to inappropriate people. And it's because I'm not in a service mode. If I'm in a mode of how can I best serve my client? How can I best serve God? How can I be of love and service to others? Then I don't get into nearly as much trouble with the inappropriate remarks. And let's say I cut someone off in traffic and there's honking and there's waving of middle fingers. Then I realize I've been selfish and self-seeking. There was a story today about that senator. Who's that libertarian senator? Rand Paul from Kentucky. Okay, we finally found out what provoked his neighbor to charge over their property line and tackle him. And it's because Rand Paul, for months, had been piling brush and garden debris on Rand Paul's property, but it was a tremendous eyesore. And so the neighbor had hauled it away or burned it up. And then Rand Paul just kept piling this ugly, unsightly debris, you know, still on Rand Paul's property, but it was causing a tremendous eyesore for the neighbor. So you can be technically right. It can be your property where you're piling up debris and garbage and rotting, you know, rotting cuttings and rotting grass and rotting tree branches. And if it negatively affects your neighbor, they're going to react. They may very well react. It wasn't like Rand Paul just did absolutely nothing and then his neighbor just charged across the property line and tackled him for absolutely no reason. No, Rand Paul was consistently creating a mess, an unsightly, ungodly mess that probably smelled bad, looked bad, irritated the neighbor. Rand Paul didn't take his neighbor's preferences into account. Rand Paul just did what he wanted to do and screwed the neighbor, and they hadn't been talking for years. And as a result, the neighbor finally got sick of this problem and just like charged across. And yeah, the neighbor wasn't in the right in doing that, but Rand Paul wasn't really in the right either. So we do these things that hurt other people and they respond. And what are these things we do that get us into trouble? We let our 5 basic instincts off the leash. Okay, our 5 basic instincts of being selfish, self-seeking, inconsiderate, dishonest, and fearful. When we all have these tendencies, and when we let them off the leash, we get into trouble. Like if I just turned into that lane right in front of that driver, I may well have been in an accident. But I was not inconsiderate. I noticed he was onrushing. I stayed in my lane, and I avoided the accident. So I often get into trouble because I just say something that I think is really funny, and then in some circumstances the identical thing will crack people up, and in other circumstances that same thing will just tick them off. Like, shut up, Luke. Hear that a lot. Shut up, Luke. Man, my iPhone holder is just not providing quality hold on my iPhone. Why did I spend the big $8 for some product made in China? I need to provide like reliable hold as I provide these amazing moral insights. So nowadays, when I feel a little ill, when I feel disgusted with myself, I can quickly, okay, what was it? What did I do? Which of my instincts? So inconsideration. Was I banging around, making a loud noise at night, waking up neighbors? Was I screaming out the Lord's name in vain, waking up the neighbors? Like, what was I doing? Was I arguing politics in an inappropriate circumstance? Did I say to that girl, wow, those shoes look really comfortable, and then I ticked her off? Or did I say to that girl, well, okay, let's go here till I figure out my iPhone holder. And people direct message me on Twitter or email me like, how do you stay calm? Like when people are attacking you all the time, or people are making really harsh comments, or people saying you deserve to be gassed, or you deserve the rope because you're a race traitor. How do you and become cognizant of the careless ways that you've hurt other people? Then it's a lot easier to just let things ride, let things go. I can't control other people. I can't control the chat. Yeah, when I'm at home, I'll ban people if they make me unhappy. That's my criteria for allowing people in my life. I don't take every client I can get. I let go of clients that make me unhappy, even if they pay well. Of course, I weigh up how much they pay and against how much of an effort they are, and I'll let them go if they're too much trouble, if they just make me unhappy. I think that's also, there are seasons of a man's life. So in your 20s, you're building your kingdom. You're never going to work as much as you did from like 20 to 5 to your late 30s, because that's when you're building your kingdom. And then by 40, you should have a kingdom. As I said, I've been blogging for 21 years almost. That's my kingdom. As paltry as it is, that's my kingdom. I've had a YouTube channel since 2007. This is my kingdom. Like, other people got married, had kids, respectable positions in the workplace, in the community. They have mortgages. I have blog posts and YouTube videos. This is my kingdom. And then as you age, perhaps you become less willing to put up with stuff. You're not going to hustle as much, and not going to work as hard, and you're probably going to seek perhaps some more acknowledgement as you move into your prince and then your king stage. I got this from one Alison Armstrong cassette, The Seasons of a Man's Life. So I think that's something to it. I'm 52 now. I'm just not going to put up with anything that makes me unhappy, unless it's incredibly temporary and incredibly lucrative or rewarding in some way. So I live my life around being happy, being at ease, and if I ever get ill at ease, I want to know why. And it will be because I've been selfish, taken what didn't belong to me in some sense, selfish, self-seeking, you know, aggrandizing myself, trying to portray myself as having qualities or accomplishments that I don't have. Perhaps I've boasted, yeah, I've got a keeper on. Where's the cash? You bet. You think I would go outside without a keeper? Come on. Come on, guys. And inconsideration, that's a big one. Like if someone's really involved in their work, it's usually going to be inconsiderate of me to be making jokes. Okay, they've got work to do. They don't need me making jokes. That's inconsiderate. Or if I've been given a task, I have a client, they're paying me, and my mind's elsewhere. Fear used to run my life. And because I was fearful, for years I'd go to therapy and I'd say to my therapist, I'm in survival mode. And in survival mode, that was a much more ethically flexible place. Okay? I was in survival mode. I could justify more things when I was in survival mode. And I noticed a lot of people are in survival mode, and that's a big warning sign. Because you shouldn't be in survival mode. Survival mode usually means you didn't plan, you didn't do the steps you needed to take to develop a prosperous life. And survival mode is not really a good place to be in. And people feel entitled to cheat you, screw you over, take advantage of you when they're in survival mode. Yeah, survival mode is all about the instincts. Just putting a roof over your head, the food and drink, and the internet connection, and keeping your cell phone on. And people do a lot of unethical things when they're in survival mode. And for years I'd go to my therapist and say, I'm in survival mode. And at the same time, I could not face looking at any harms that I'd done others. I had this self-image that I was a righteous person. That's why I converted to Judaism. I would love Vox Day to do an interview with me, but we traded some email, and he said he didn't. I would very much enjoy talking to Vox Day. A lot of people that come on this chat, come on the show, are regular Vox Day readers. So I find knowing those 5 instincts just really helpful. Like when I'm getting into trouble with other people, it's one of those 5. I'm either being selfish, self-seeking, inconsiderate, dishonest, fearful. Boom. I don't have to be all morbid about it. I can just like, oh, you know, I wanted that girl, and so I didn't follow the social niceties. As Bill Clinton said yesterday, I think, that the things that you can do to people without their consent, they're considerably different today than 20 years ago. And another friend, Mark Kramer, he ended up committing suicide a few years ago, and I gotta say, when I heard that guy committed suicide, this is going to sound awful, it just came as a tremendous relief, because he was just so paranoid, so hostile without reason. But I remember him saying, everything we like to do in university is now a felony. So I noticed when I got ill that people my own age shied away, didn't know how to deal with it. But people in the second half of life, they were much more considerate. Virtually nobody in the second half of life was cruel to me when I was chronically ill. Instead, they generally speaking had compassion and empathy that my life had kind of collapsed around me. But people my own age, they were scared. They felt like it was a form of contagion. They couldn't understand it. They just wanted to get away. And I feel that too. So there's a saying in 12 steps, stick with the winners. Stick with the winners. Because as you can imagine, there are a lot of depressed people in 12 steps. And my illness was chronic fatigue syndrome. So basically from 21 to 27, I was bedridden about 20 hours a day. So a lot of depressed people in 12 steps. And when they sense that you've got some recovery, they want to call and bend your ear and talk about all their problems. They have old ladies calling up about how they need to buy a car and don't know how to go about it. They can talk about all their problems. They can be crying, and just drags you down, man. Drags you down. So I have to limit that, particularly in the morning. The morning is the rudder of the day. So I don't want people calling up and moaning about their problems. It's a 12-step call. I want to hear about people working the solution. Okay, what are you doing? What actions are you taking? What step are you on? What tools in the program are you working? Like, how has the program enhanced your life? That's what I want to hear about. Like, there are a lot of 12-step meetings where people are just complaining. You don't want to go to those 12-step meetings. You want to go to 12-step meetings where people are sharing the message, not the mess. I don't want to hear people share about the mess. Just share a little bit about the mess and then share the message about how the program has helped make a difference in your life. Like working the steps, working the tools. That's what I want to hear about. Don't share the mess. Bring other people down. Like people got the sex addiction or the drug addiction or the alcohol addiction or the addiction to unhealthy relationships. And there's recovery, and it begins with God and understanding your own weakness in the front of your addictive tendencies. But there's a solution. There's a higher power. There's the 12 steps. There's sponsorship. There's quality meetings. There's big book study. There's tradition study. We've got the 12 steps, the 12 traditions, the 12 tools. Got a lot of good things.